Welcome to Starship TV's Mega Movie Marathon and Movie Reviews. We have 17 films in this marathon. Let's begin. 1. How Green Was My Valley, 1941. Studio, 20th Century Fox. Director, John Ford. Cast: Walter Pidgeon as Mr. Grufford, Maureen O'Hara as Angarad, Roddy McDowall as Hugh Morgan, Donald Crisp as Mr. Morgan. Scene-by-scene narrative. Opening. The film opens with Hugh Morgan as an adult reflecting on his youth in a Welsh coal mining village. Family life. Young Hugh plays with his siblings, under the watchful eye of his strict but loving father. The village is tightly knit but overshadowed by the dangerous coal mine. Community struggles. Tensions rise as the mine owners push for longer hours and lower wages. Miners organize strikes, fracturing the village's unity. Romantic conflict. Hugh's sister Angarad is courted by the charismatic preacher Mr. Grufford, but economic pressures force her into a loveless marriage with the wealthy mine owner, Mr. Davies. Tragedy. A mining accident claims lives, including Hugh's youngest brother, deepening the family's hardship. Resolution. The village begins to decline as industry changes, but Hugh finds hope through memories and the enduring spirit of his family. Interesting facts. Won 5 Academy Awards including Best Picture. Filmed in black and white despite initial plans for color. The village was recreated on a massive studio set in California. 2. Pot of Gold, 1941. Studio, United Artists. Director, George Marshall. Cast: James Stewart as Jimmy Haskell, Paulette Goddard as Molly McCorkle, Charles Winninger as Charles Haskell Sr. Scene-by-scene narrative. Introduction. Jimmy Haskell, a music lover from a wealthy family, clashes with his uncle, who hates music. Meeting Molly, Jimmy attends a lively musical gathering where he meets Molly and her musical family, instantly enchanted. Deception. To win Molly's heart and his uncle's approval, Jimmy hides his true identity and pretends to be a struggling musician. Radio success. Jimmy uses radio broadcasts to popularize Molly's music, bringing joy to a wider audience and softening his uncle's heart. Climax. After some comedic misunderstandings, Jimmy reveals his true identity, winning Molly's hand and family acceptance. Interesting facts. James Stewart's only musical film role, based on a popular radio program of the era, features a memorable big band soundtrack. 3. Shores of Tripoli, 1942. Studio, 20th Century Fox. Director, H. Bruce Humberstone. Cast: John Payne as Chris Winters, Maureen O'Hara as Lieutenant Mary Carter, Randolph Scott as Sergeant Dixie Smith. Scene-by-scene narrative. Boot camp. Chris Winters, a carefree young man, enlists in the Marine Corps and struggles under the tough Sergeant Dixie Smith. Training montage. Chris learns discipline through physical drills and lessons, gradually earning the respect of his peers and superiors. Romance. At the Naval Hospital, Chris meets Lieutenant Mary Carter, sparking a romantic subplot complicated by military protocol. Deployment. The unit is sent to North Africa. Action scenes depict beach landings and skirmishes against enemy forces. Final battle. Chris proves his bravery in a climactic fight, saving his comrades and winning Mary's heart. Interesting facts. Released shortly after Pearl Harbor to boost morale. Showcases early Marine Corps tactics. Features realistic training sequences. 4. The Amazing Mr. X, 1948. Studio, Eagle Lion Films. Director, Bernard Voorhouse. Cast: Turhan Bey as Mr. Alexis, Lynn Bari as Christine Faber, Kathy O'Donnell as Janet Stewart. Scene-by-scene narrative. Opening. Christine mourns the sudden death of her husband and visits a psychic, Mr. Alexis, seeking contact with the afterlife. Suspense builds. Mr. Alexis's seances convince Christine of his powers, but Janet, Christine's sister, grows suspicious. Investigation. Janet secretly investigates Alexis, discovering inconsistencies and eerie happenings in the house. Climactic seance. During a tense seance, supernatural events escalate. Alexis's true motives are revealed. Resolution. The sisters expose Alexis, and Christine begins to heal from her grief. Interesting facts. Known for its atmospheric use of shadows and light, cinematographer John Alton created striking noir visuals. A cult classic for fans of supernatural thrillers. 5. Sitting Pretty, 1948. Studio, 20th Century Fox. Director, Walter Lang. Cast: Clifton Webb as Lynn Belvedere, Robert Young as Harry King, Maureen O'Hara as Tacy King. Scene-by-scene narrative. Arrival. The Kings hire the mysterious and erudite Lynn Belvedere as their children's babysitter, causing gossip among neighbors. Household hijinks? Belvedere's strict and witty methods bring order and laughter, often baffling the parents and children. Social stir? Belvedere attends local events, sparking intrigue about his past and talents. Conflict? When rumors threaten the family's reputation, Belvedere cleverly defends them and teaches lessons on judgment. Happy ending? Belvedere reveals a heartwarming side, solidifying his place in the family. Interesting facts. The character Mr. Belvedere appeared in multiple sequels. Clifton Webb was praised for his sophisticated comic timing. The film inspired a later TV series. 6. State of the Union, 1948. Studio, MGM. Director, Frank Capra. Cast, Spencer Tracy as Grant Matthews, Katharine Hepburn as Mary Matthews, Angela Lansbury as Kay Thorndike. Scene-by-scene narrative. Campaign launch: businessman Grant Matthews announces his presidential run, backed by wealthy lobbyist Kay Thorndike. Political maneuvering: Mary, Grant's estranged wife, disapproves of the corrupt tactics employed. Public speeches: Grant delivers stirring speeches but becomes entangled in scandals and moral compromises. Romantic struggle: Mary returns to campaign with Grant, rekindling their relationship and grounding his ideals. Election day: Grant wins the nomination but pledges to fight corruption and lead with integrity. Interesting facts. Based on a Pulitzer Prize-winning play, Capra's sharp critique of American politics. Noted for strong performances by Tracy and Hepburn. 7. The Bat Whispers, 1930. Studio, United Artists. Director, Roland West. Cast, Chester Morris as Detective Anderson, Una Merkel as Dale Van Gorder, Grace Hampton as Miss Cornelia Van Gorder. Scene-by-scene narrative. Opening crime: the Bat, a masked criminal, robs a bank and escapes. Mansion gathering: a group of guests gather at the Van Gorder mansion, believed to be the Bat's hideout. Storm trap: a violent storm traps everyone inside, raising tensions and suspicion. Secret passages: guests discover hidden doors and secret rooms, deepening the mystery. Final confrontation: Detective Anderson reveals the Bat's identity in a dramatic showdown. Interesting facts. Early widescreen film using the Magnafilm process inspired aspects of the Batman character's design. A remake of a 1926 silent classic. 8. The Outsider, 1961. Studio, Universal International. Director, Delbert Mann. Cast, Tony Curtis as Ira Hayes, James Franciscus as James Sorensen, Bruce Bennett as Father McNulty. Scene-by-scene narrative. Early life: Ira Hayes grows up on the Pima Indian Reservation, shy and reserved. Military service: Ira enlists in the Marines and fights bravely at Iwo Jima. Flag raising: the iconic flag raising event brings him fame but also inner turmoil. Post-war struggles: Ira faces discrimination and struggles with alcoholism. Tragic end: despite efforts to help him, Ira dies alone, highlighting the cost of war and neglect. Interesting facts. Based on real-life events, Tony Curtis was nominated for critical acclaim. Highlights Native American contributions to World War II. 9. Life with Father, 1947. Studio, Warner Bros. Director, Michael Curtiz. Cast, William Powell as Clarence Day Sr., Irene Dunn as Vinnie Day, Elizabeth Taylor as Mary Skinner. Scene-by-scene narrative. Family chaos: Clarence Day Sr. insists on order, but his family often disrupts his plans. Baptism refusal: Vinnie insists Clarence get baptized, leading to humorous standoffs. Children's adventures: the children's antics, including Clarence Jr.'s courtship of Mary, bring laughter. Family bonding: despite disagreements, the family shows deep affection and resilience. Resolution: Clarence quietly agrees to baptism, symbolizing acceptance and love. Interesting facts. Based on Clarence Day's autobiographical stories. Elizabeth Taylor in one of her early roles. Nominated for several Academy Awards. Dissect: Best Man wins 1948. Studio, Republic Pictures. Director, John Sturges. Cast, Edgar Buchanan as Jim Smiley, Anna Lee as Nancy Parker, Robert Shane as Professor Parker. Scene-by-scene narrative. Return to town: Jim Smiley returns and tries to reconnect with his son Tommy. Frog contest. To pay for Tommy's medical needs, Jim enters a famous frog jumping contest with his frog Daniel Webster. Family struggles. Nancy worries about Jim's past as a gambler. Sabotage. Jim's frog is sabotaged, but he forgives the culprit, showing his changed character. Happy reunion. Jim earns the family's respect and Nancy's love. Interesting facts. Inspired by Mark Twain's story. Early film of director John Sturges. Jedden Act. The Mountain Road 1960. Studio, Columbia Pictures. Director, Daniel Mann. Cast, James Stewart as Major Baldwin, Lisa Liu as Madame Su Mei Hung. Scene-by-scene narrative. Mission briefing. Major Baldwin is assigned to destroy bridges in China to delay the Japanese journey. The demolition team travels with Madame Su Mei Hung, encountering cultural clashes. Moral conflict. Baldwin struggles with destroying villages and harming civilians. Ambush. The team faces enemy attack and heavy losses. Aftermath. Baldwin reflects on the cost of war and his changed outlook. Interesting facts. Based on Theodore White's novel. James Stewart's introspective role on war ethics. Divan Act. Rue Madeleine. 1947. Studio, 20th Century Fox. Director, Henry Hathaway. Cast, James Cagney as Bob Sharkey, Richard Conte as Bill O'Connell, Annabella as Suzanne de Beaumont. Scene-by-scene narrative. Training. Sharkey trains OSS agents for covert missions. Suspicion. He suspects O'Connell is a double agent. Mission. The team parachutes into occupied France. Resistance. They work with French fighters and uncover sabotage plans. Climax. Sharkey confronts the traitor and sacrifices himself to complete the mission. Interesting facts. Blend of documentary and spy thriller. Tribute to OSS operatives. Trin Act. Disputed Passage, 1939. Studio, Paramount Pictures. Director, Frank Borzage. Cast, John Howard as John Bevan, Dorothy Lamour as Audrey, Akeem Tamaroff as Dr. Forster. Scene-by-scene narrative. Medical school. John Bevan trains under cold Dr. Forster. Love. He falls for Audrey, a Chinese refugee. Conflict. Forster's dismissiveness clashes with Bevan's compassion. Illness. Audrey falls ill. Bevan defies Forster to save her. Resolution. Forster reevaluates his clinical outlook. Interesting facts. Philosophical exploration of medicine and humanity. CTR Nact. Three Stripes in the Sun, 1955. Studio, Columbia Pictures. Director, Richard Murphy. Cast, Aldo Ray as Sergeant O'Reilly, Miyoshi Umeki as Yuko, Dick York as Nibi. Scene-by-scene narrative. Arrival. Sergeant O'Reilly arrives in Japan, bitter from war memories. Orphanage visit. He meets Yuko and local children. Change of heart. O'Reilly helps rebuild the orphanage and softens emotionally. Conflict. He confronts black market criminals threatening the community. New beginning. Finds love with Yuko and renewed purpose. Interesting facts. Based on true events. Highlights post-war reconciliation. Patton Act. Shadowed, 1946. Studio, RKO Pictures. Director, John Sturges. Cast, Lloyd Corrigan as Fred Johnson, Anita Louise as Carol Johnson, Terry Moore as Ginny Johnson. Scene-by-scene narrative. Murder witness. Fred Johnson witnesses a killing but fears reporting it. Threats. Killers target the Johnson family to silence Fred. Investigation. Carol and Ginny piece clues together. Showdown. Fred outsmarts the criminals in his home. Safety. Family reunited and safe. Interesting facts. A tense suburban noir early in Sturges's career. Cessnacht. Miracle on Main Street, 1939. Studio, Columbia Pictures. Director, Irving Cummings. Cast, Margot as Linda, Walter Abel as Joe, William Collier Sr. as Judge Grayson. Scene-by-scene narrative. Hardship. Linda struggles after her husband's imprisonment. Separation. Gives up custody of her daughter. Reunion effort. Years later, she tries to reconnect with her child. Courtroom drama. A judge hears Linda's case, aided by reporter Joe. Hope. Linda is granted visitation and a second chance. Interesting facts. A social drama reflecting Depression-era struggles. You're watching Starship TV. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoy movie reviews. Thank you for joining us today. 17. The Spider, 1945. Studio, Republic Pictures. Director, Robert D. Webb. Cast, Richard Conte as Chris Conlon, Faye Marlowe as Delilah, Kurt Kreuger as Eric. Scene-by-scene narrative. Investigation. Detective Conlon investigates a mysterious murder tied to spies. Clues. He meets nightclub singer Delilah, who may hold answers. Danger. Conlon uncovers Nazi espionage and a plot to steal secrets. Confrontation. Rooftop fight reveals the spy known as the Spider. Justice. Conlon apprehends the criminals. Interesting facts. A classic noir espionage thriller. Richard Conte's early lead role. All these films in this review are definitely